Well, this morning I'm extraordinarily excited because if you look over my shoulder, you will see one of the most iconic sports fields, if not the most iconic sports field in the world. It's the playing fields of Eton. Amazing. And standing beside me is Lee Marshallsay, who's the grounds manager here at Eton. And now, Lee, we are here and we're talking about excellence when we talk about Eton. We're talking about high achievement. You've just come back from winning the highest achieving award in groundsmanship. You won the Grounds Manager of the Year at the GMA Award, so you're fairly comfortable here in this sort of environment. Tell us a little bit about winning that award.
One, you don't expect anything like that, to be honest. I think we all want to do a good job, and to be recognised was quite special.
Did it come as a big surprise? I think you know you're down. No, do you know if you're down to the last two? Tell me how it worked. And how did they entice you all the way up to Leeds?
The college, the team were up for an award, which was the Independent Schools Grounds Team of the Year award. And from my understanding is if you win your category, then the managers for each category in the professional categories will then be put forward for the Grounds Manager of the Year award.
Uh-huh.
So that's how that works. And yes, I was quite shocked, to be fair. I was a bit taken aback. I never really thought that it'd be something that I would win or someone from a school would win, because I think it's a bit of a perceptionally and it's probably my perception, not the rest, is that it's usually someone from a football club or a cricket ground or a rugby club. But looking at the trophy, clearly isn't. There's a mix on there. To be the first score on that trophy effectively is a real nice.
Is it the first school?
Yeah, we're the first graduate from a school to win that. But there's been universities on there, race courses, so really good company and really good names on that list. And I was very shocked. When we won the school award, all the team were going, "You could get this, you might get this." And I'm like, don't be silly, but calm down. It's look, we've won this award. Let's just enjoy this one. But for my name to be called, it was a bit
And I remember you were quite emotional. I remember.
Yeah, it's more the shock, to be fair. And then you think, you don't prepare for it. And then all of a sudden I've got to go up and be presented this magnificent trophy and certificate and try and get some words out on the stage and try and make some sense. But I'll always remember that, and very special.
And what was the reaction when you got back to the school?
I mean, for the team especially, we had great response from the college. The college have been really supportive. We've been up in front of the whole school as well as a team, and had a thank you effectively from the headmaster and the school. But I also think, from winning it this year in terms of to come second the year before, for the team to go on again and to be nominated and to go on again, I think that's a real testament to their work. And
it shows the consistency, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think we also want to strive. I think even you always want to try and strive. You want to try and improve, even if it's by a small percentage here and a small percentage there.
Yeah.
You want to always try and do that. But I think for them, it is testament to them, because actually, for them to win that award, I don't win the other award effectively if you want to look at it like that. So I put it down to them and their work ethic and how they work.
Now, when you set off, we were talking earlier, when you left school and started work at Harrow School, another very, very well-known school, what ceiling did you set yourself? What did you hope to reach? What level did you hope to get to?
Well, I didn't expect that I'd probably go on the journey I've had. I think I'm quite ambitious and you want to achieve and you want to go on. I think I spent a long time at Harrow. And worked up through, and I saw Charterhouse as a stepping stone in terms of a management career, being able to learn about a different site, work with different people, which I think has really helped me to be able to, when this job come up, and go for it from there, really.
Now, I've been lucky enough to interview the head groundsman at St Andrews, the old course, the guys at Wembley, Wimbledon, even the guy at Hackney Marshes, all iconic sports fields. This is very much among them, the playing fields of Eton. What sort of responsibility do you feel that you're the man charged with looking after the most famous sports fields in the world?
I personally don't look at it any different from when I was doing the job in my previous two schools. First and foremost, I'm a grounds person. I'm looking to produce surfaces for boys and our customers to use, because effectively our boys are paying a big fees to come to a place like this. And for us, it's about trying to produce surfaces that will be able to be played on at pretty much all times of the school year, albeit difficulties and challenge with weather, etc. That's the aim. I don't think the job's any different from my previous 2 jobs. It's just on a bigger scale.
Yeah. Now, how much bigger a scale is that? How big is your team here? And is it 200 acres? I read somewhere. What's the scale of it?
So effectively, I've got a team of 30 that's split into 3 areas. So that's a playing fields team, which will include the golf course. I've got a gardens team that do all the formal areas and gardens of houses. We've got 26 boarding houses, so there's upkeep in them. And then I've got a landscape team that will do our meadows, our hedges, our tree work, the management of Dorney Lake as well. So that's the team of 30. In terms of Eton as a whole, Eton's around about, and give or take a few acres, about 1,500 acres, which goes from the bottom of this field all the way up to Dorney Lake. Now, a third of that is farmland, which is not managed by me, and 500-600 acres of it, and then the rest is sort of managed operationally by myself, which we sports pitches, surrounds of Dorney Lake, meadows, trees, fence work, hedge work. In terms of the sports pitches, we've got 38 winter sports pitches, so that would be 26 football in term 1, with the rest being rugby, 11 rugby effectively, and then that switches in term 2 and we play field game, which is what's set up behind us, and then we go into cricket for term 2, so cricket, tennis, athletics, sorry.
And there's that. Now, don't tell me this doesn't exist anymore, but the Eton Wall game, it's infamous. Do you have any involvement? Does it still go on, for one thing, and do you still have any involvement in preparing for a Eton Wall game?
So the wall game, the wall's permanently there. It's there all year round. The boys do play it pretty much all through the school year. The one big event is St Andrew's Day, where
typical the Scots get involved in something like that.
Yeah, well, so it's there. So St Andrew's Day is quite big in this school as well. So that's the main game, and that's where effectively College House play the Oppidums, which is almost like the rest of the school. There's a bit of a tradition of face-off, but one tradition that still carries on today is that the head groundsman does the coin toss for the start of that game every year. So the groundsmen are still connected in some kind of way. The pitch it's just a bit of grass up against the wall. Effectively, we put a few white lines down. There isn't really any major prep. It's one of the sports where you don't have to worry about vertidraining it and making sure there's grass everywhere and cut to a perfection, because actually the longer the better.
I must admit, I did wonder if health and safety would have got in the way of the Eton Wall game.
Yeah, you could probably argue it. I mean, the boys sit on. It's a fantastic spectacle. St Andrew's Day is fantastic. You've got the boys that all sit on the wall. You've got a crowd of sometimes a few thousand people watching. The spectacle's the start, and then it's almost like a rugby scrum / ruck up against the wall. It's an interesting game.
And you're the man with the coin.
And I'm the man with the coin. And it's not. I don't think there's been a goal scored on St Andrew's Day for quite a few years, over 100 years, I believe, or something like that. So yeah, it's not been a goal scored for a while.
Now, just going back, how did you get into groundsmanship? Is it something you always wanted to do, or is it something you had a passion for? Are you a sporting person?
No, I think most people that come into this role is because their grandparents or their uncle or their dad or brother may do it. I completely fell into this job. Yeah, completely fell into it. I didn't do well at school in terms of GCSEs anyway. Tried to do a year of A-levels, wasn't really working out, and so flicking through the college prospectus that there was then, it was a greenkeeping and sports turf course, and that went from there really.
It seems to be that people, a lot of them are similar to yourself, and they get into this industry and something clicks and you've got a passion for it, and you find it's something you've got a real aptitude for and you can fly.
Yeah, I think in any walk of life, or any job, if you apply yourself right, anything's possible. I think the one thing that this job does is gives you opportunity, and there's a world of opportunity out there, whether it's in this country or across the world, or that you can grasp and grab. But I think I've been lucky, but at the same time I've also worked hard to achieve what I've achieved. And I look back at it now, if it wasn't the teacher saying to me, Lee, probably go to college and try and choose something that could be a career, then it could have been different.
At what point did you think, I'm quite good at this, I could go a long way in this business?
I don't really know. I just like I said, I think if you apply yourself right and you see what you do, like, you know, when you cut a football pitch and you've got it bayed out and you've got it marked and straight lines, etc. You think, and you see yourself doing that week on week, you think, I can progress. I can do this sort of work. I think it then just comes down to where do you want to put yourself. I'd probably go after 2 or 3 years. I'd love to be a head groundsman, but I hadn't put where I'm going to be or where I'd like to be, because you don't really know what's around at that time.
Yeah, a lot of it's serendipity, isn't it? It's just it's being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. And I was, at Harrow, I was a groundsman for a number of years. I went up. I became a deputy for a number of years, and then I stepped up into the grounds manager's role. I probably looked to move because I'd been at Harrow a long time, and it was like, I'm probably never going to leave if I don't look to leave. And actually, probably wanted to take a bit of a safety net away. My boss was still there; he was above me, so it was like, if by going to learn at a different site, I can start to really work out how I want to do things rather than having just want to check, that kind of. So I've learned them I've grabbed them opportunities. Yeah.
Now, can you just talk a little bit about the agronomic issues you have here, Lee? With because I understand you've got 2 rivers that have some sort of impact in the work you're doing agronomically.
Yeah, so at the bottom of this field we've got the Jubilee River, which feeds into the Thames, and then on the other side of this building we're having an interview today, we've got the River Thames. So, when we flood, which touchwood hasn't happened many times since I've been here, but it was a few weeks ago, so we had our sort of first team football, first team rugby, and the pitch where the ball game was underwater. But luckily enough on this side of site, we don't have that issue, it was a little bit higher. But we are on a silty loam. So that does have its issues, especially when we have lots of heavy rainfall, etc. So it's about taking opportunity when it comes up. So if we've got a period of dry weather and it's dried out enough to get attachments such as vertidrains and slitters and shock waves out there, we do. We've upped our aeration quite a bit over the last few years, just especially trying to get in early doors, just try and get that rain through, or water through when we have heavy downpours. This last week we had 30 mil of rain Thursday. We had another 30 mil on Saturday into Sunday. We expect another 30 mil on this Wednesday. The boys come back last night, and we've got a full programme of field game this afternoon, of which luckily enough we've managed to get them all on. Just one couple of pitch changes, but we've managed to do that. So yeah, the weather, the rivers can have can be an issue, especially in flood. But also the land itself and what we're on can also have its issues and taking opportunities. And
you were saying earlier that you had about 6 consecutive terms that had issues at the beginning of each term, whether it had been frost, whether it had been anything else. No, there's no such thing as a normal year.
Oh no, 100%. There definitely is no such thing as a normal year. We have had some challenges, from a few summers ago where we had the dry summer where everything was sort of burnt off and died. We come back to 2 hard pitches, and then we had frost at the end of that year and the start of the following term. Cricket was a wet one last year, and prep this time last year was a nightmare in terms of trying to get things to cricket squares. So, I think as people that work on grounds, we have to adapt. We have to try and. We all know the layers of our land and where to avoid and what we can do, but it is becoming a challenge.
I also know that there'll be some groundsmen out there at schools up and down the country who'll say, it's all right for Lee, he'll have unlimited budgets, he's got unlimited staff down there, they can do all sorts of things that we can't possibly do at our schools. I don't believe that probably is the case, but can you just answer that one?
No, I mean, we've got staff, we've got, like I said earlier, we've got a team of 30, that's what we've got. But we are a bigger site than most. Budgets are budgets. We've got budgets that we've got to stick to. We're not a bottomless pit, and I have to make sure that we're using the budget in the most efficient and effective way and get a maximum use out of it, so we can produce surfaces and gardens and landscape across the college.
Now, I know you probably had ambitions and goals when you started in the job just 4 years ago, during lockdown, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How far down that road to achieving what you would like to achieve are you at the moment?
I think if I said where I'd like to be in 4 years, where we are now, would I be happy? Yes. I think we've come a long way from my point of view. I think we always try and it's fine margins, a lot of it. couple of percent here and a few percent there, and just trying to how we can up things. But presentation is one that I think we've really tried to work on in making sure that when we're on show, and we're always on show. We're quite an open. We're a town site. There's always people walking through. There's a lot of tourists that come. Obviously, the boys have got sports, and parents, etc. come. But we always want to make sure that we're looking, good and showing what we can do for the boys to have a good sporting experience.
And is there any projects you've got in line for the next few years that you're hoping to bring through?
We've had quite a few projects over the last couple of years. Obviously we've had the first team rugby pitch was sort of re-levelled for flood alleviation works on part of another building, which impacted the rugby pitch, and we've had various aspects with cricket square rebuilds and rejuvenations. So we've had quite a bit the last few years, and there's other things that are going across the school that are at the moment, which are the priority, which is where we are. So, but we're always looking to strive and do better, and where we can try and do stuff, then we have to build our case up like anyone and see where it goes from there.
Now, if you could go back and speak to the 18-year-old Lee starting work at Harrow, what piece of advice would you give that young whippersnapper?
I said this at the awards, and I said, for anyone coming into this, whether actually you're young or of an age, I would say that if you take every opportunity that comes your way and grab it with both hands, because you just don't know where it's going to take you. And I think we sort of live in an age where things get given to people, and actually I think this is one job that if you really want something, you can really get it.
And looking back to that evening in beginning of November, was it, when you received the award, what have your thoughts been? Do you rest back thinking, I've achieved all I can achieve in this industry, and take credit for that, or do you think it's just the start of a longer journey?
I still can't believe it, to be honest. I mean, even now I look back and I think, why? What's done that? I'm still at a relatively young age, if we want to call it.
Not relatively, you're still a young man.
And I think, I'm pretty set here. I enjoy working in this environment. I enjoy working in schools. My family are settled in this area. But I just see it as I don't know, it's a great achievement, but I don't look at where it's going to take me or what's next. I just sort of take it year by year, and my feet are firmly on the ground. It's,
Well, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to come here and look out over these famous playing fields where there's work going on at the moment, and the sun is coming out. So thank you very much, Lee. It's congratulations as well. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.